become the person you need to be, you're going to get all the business that you need, right? And so add value to everybody, whether or not they're ever going to be your customer. Add value to them anyways. Okay, now the second main heading here is to see value in yourself and add value to yourself. Now, none of us, if we don't see value in ourselves, we will never add value to ourselves, right? We have to believe that we're people of value, that we have areas of strength, we have ways that we can make a difference in the world, and then we keep developing them so we can make more difference. Okay, so in order to see value in yourself and add value to yourself, we want to keep adding value to yourself, emphasizing your areas of strength. Figure out what your areas of strength are. If you don't know, take a test. There are some wonderful, simple tests like Strengths Finder 2.0. That's a book with a little test code in the back you can take online. Get it from Amazon for about $20. Find out what your areas of strength are, and then get resources on developing those things. Put those in your mind and build yourself up on that. And then next, make your top priority adding and giving value. You're building yourself up so you can give out. It's we like to say, be a river, not a reservoir. A reservoir just holds everything in, right? A river takes in and then keeps going. The water's just passing through. We're just passing through. We're just receiving and we're giving. We're receiving and we're giving. We're developing ourselves so we can give out. We develop more so we can give out more. So make your top priority adding and giving value. And then realize that having to sell adds stress. Anybody in sales know that's the truth? It's oh my gosh, I got to make sales. How are my numbers this month? Oh, am I going to be better than last month? One of the common lies that's promoted around the sales world is that you're only as good as your last sale. That's a lie. No, you're worth far more than your last sale, and you can be far better than that. There can be many, many factors that influence that. But realize that having to sell adds stress, but adding value brings joy and sales. Okay? Adding value brings joy. When you're giving to somebody and building them up and knowing that you've helped another person be better, that brings joy. And as you're doing that, you become seen in such a light that people want to do business with you. It brings the sales too. If they just feel like, oh my gosh, this person's so stressed out and they just want me to buy something, their goal with me is to sell me, not to add value to me. They want to sell me. Then you're stressed out and that carries over to them, and nobody wants to be in a stressful situation. So they're like, bye, see ya. They're going to be gone. Then next thing is remember that they buy into you before buying into your product. We like to say of a leader that people buy into the leader before they'll follow the leader. It's the same thing if you're in sales. People buy into you before buying into your product. You could have the best product in the world, but if I don't want to be around you or deal with you, I'm not going to buy from you. I'll go find that somewhere else or somebody else to buy it from. People buy into you before buying your product. But if they buy into you, and they like being around you and they're believing in what you're saying and they see the value there, then they're going to buy into your product as well. Because they're going to believe that a person like you would have a good product. Okay? And, we want to be people who add value on all levels. Being that person that adds value on all levels of life, not just that one level of the sale, but on all levels of life, that makes you someone people want to be around and possibly buy from, right? So whatever our interests are, we will obviously want to develop our skills and our product knowledge and those sorts of things in our area of expertise, but we also want to just develop on all levels of life, on the spiritual, intellectual, emotional, physical, social, we want to develop on all those areas and then be able to help people on other areas too. So we're not just this man of one idea, we're not like the village idiot just banging one key on the piano over and over. And we probably all know people like that. When it comes to sales, boy, they just got that one key and they just bang the heck out of it. Just beat that thing to death, and everybody's like, oh, dear good heavens, is this all they have in their life? Is this one thing that they sell? Talk to me about who you are. Talk to me about something else. Talk to me about anything else.
Jeff will be back shortly to wrap up today's message. This is Gabriela, still on the scene today with Talk Network Radio. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Empowered Living with Jeff Byrd. If you've missed any part of today's message, you can hear it again online, as well as the entire archive of empowered living at www.talknetworkradio.com or search keyword #empoweredliving. We would like to acknowledge our music partners, Sound Ideas for Corporate to the Max and Kevin MacLeod for Airport Lounge. Any scriptures read during this broadcast are from the New American Standard Version of the Holy Bible. If you would like to learn more about Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, visit www.jeffbyrdcoaching.com. That is JEFFBYRD coaching.com. Do a Facebook search for @CoachingRocks or drop Jeff a line at jeff@jeffbyrdcoaching.com. Again, JEFFBYRD coaching.com. Let Jeff's Coaching Rocks be the building blocks of your empowered success. Now, let's go back to Jeff for the rest of today's message.
Funny story that just comes to mind. I actually know somebody, and they had reached out a number of times to me on Facebook with a friend request. But every time I was around them, they always just hit me up with their product. And I said to myself, I said, okay, I know they want to be friends, but I know it's because they want to sell me this product. And every time I'm around them, all they talk about is this product. That by that time, it may be a great product, but by that time to me, it had become a stupid product because that was all they ever talked about, and they just drove me crazy with it. And I said to myself, I said, okay, if I ever get around them and for an entire event or, connection, they don't talk about the product. They just become a person with me and talk to me as a person. If they ever do that, just one time and don't mention the product, I'll accept their request. And eventually, they've mellowed out a little bit, and they did that. They got to where they just talk to me as a person, talk about other interests, are interested in me. And as soon as that happened, I immediately accepted their friend request. So when we're that kind of person, we're just all around, people who are adding value to ourselves and helping others on all the levels of life, enjoying all the levels of life, not just banging that one key over and over in everybody's ear, then that makes a huge difference. Can you scroll down a little bit? Okay, so here's a few ways that I want to wrap up here by giving you a few ways to add value to others. Okay, and the first is to really see and point out their strengths on the spiritual, intellectual, emotional, physical, social levels. Point out their strengths. Boy, I tell you what, we so often of ourselves and of other people see things critically. We see the problems, we see the flaws, we see the weaknesses, not the strengths. One of the things I do with teams is something called a leadership game that's available only through the John Maxwell team. But they have these different cards, and they each have a strength on it. Give this card to the person in your team who is best able to put the spotlight on other people, or who is the best servant leader, or who is the best under difficult circumstances, situations, and give this. And it's amazing. I've seen people cry in the game when people their team members pointed out these areas that they saw their strength in, because they're just not aware of it. They didn't see it in themselves, and normally nobody else is pointing it out. So when it gets pointed out, it's very touching to realize, wow, I put all of this energy and effort into this, and finally somebody noticed. So see and point out other people's strengths. Boy, just if you don't do anything other than that, then tell people what they're good at and focus on, hey, you're really good at that. Boy, you do that really well. Really appreciate that. If you just do that alone, you're going to become a very value-adding person. The next thing is to encourage their continual development. Hey, you're really good at that. You've already pointed that out. Now, wow, hey, boy, I can see how you could do this or that or the other, or how you could have this kind of influence. Take that strength that you see and then see beyond where they currently are to what they could be, and encourage them to develop, to keep reaching out, to keep using that, to keep growing it. Then next is to provide resources to help their growth. Okay, my wife and I, we like to recommend resources, TED Talk, YouTube videos, books. Sometimes we'll recommend, sometimes we give them to people that we're close to. But find resources, that can help them grow. They can put in good thinking into their hearts and minds about those areas that they can grow in, so that they can become bigger and better and help more people. And then next, this is kind of like the resources, but take them along to good events. there's a lot of good events around. There's a lot of local ones in our area. I see a whole lot of good events coming up. I do some events that I hear are good. I just had one last Friday and got a lot of great feedback on that, a professional development summit that we did with some other local leaders, and that was really good. But invite them to an event. Invite them to an event where we're going to talk about growth, where there's going to be good thinking and there's some good growth-oriented people around. And then the last thing is, don't ever pressure them. Don't ever pressure a person. If you're having to pressure them, they're not ready. So don't ever pressure them, but be so good yourself that it makes them want to get good too. The goal is to have them say, I'll have a pint of what you're drinking. I see it working for you. I see it working in your life. I like it so much that I want the same thing. Hey, how do I reproduce that? That's the best evangelism, if you will, of anything. It is to be so good, to have such a good quality life and get such good results as people who are of value, who add value, that people just want what we've got. And that could be our product, that could be our mindset, that could be our heart set, that could be our daily practices, our daily thinking. It could be many, many things, our physical activity, but they see that and they say, hey, I like what I see and I want what you got. Could you please tell me more about that? Years ago, I had a man who was the executive director of an organization that I now do leadership training with. And he knew me. I was on the board, but, we didn't know each other well at that time. And he called me up one time, and he just said, hey, we've all noticed that you're different. And, I'd like to get together with you and just pick your brain a little bit, see what makes you tick. And, so as a result of that, we had many, many, many meetings, to do that and discuss things, and became very good friends. He's one of my best friends. He actually gave, one of the toasts at my wedding. And really appreciate him. But that happened because he saw something different. He said, hey, there's something different about you. You got a different mindset. You got a different attitude. And I'd like to find out what's going on there. I'd like that pint of what you're drinking, please. So, we made friends out of that. And he's been a big customer just on a personal level too, not just on the corporate level, where I do the trainings, but, he's bought a lot of other things like photos. I do some photography, and he's got canvases all over the house. His wife likes waterfalls. He's bought a lot of waterfall, big canvas framed prints for his wife for her birthday and anniversary. And they just got my artwork all over the place, as well as now I'm been able to help that organization that he was the ED of, with our ongoing future planning and leadership development. So you never know what's going to come out. But that happened not because I tried to sell him anything. That happened because I tried to develop myself. I focused on that. He saw the difference, wanted to know what was going on, and all those other doors opened as a result. So, that's what we want to do. We want to sell through having a value-adding life stance. And when people see that our life stance is to add value, and we're going to trust for all the rest that needs to happen, we're going to trust for the sales to come in, but our goal is to add value. We can do it through our products, but we can do it in many other ways too. And when we're developing as holistic people, developing in all those areas, adding value, that's going to make people want to know what's going on. Nobody likes anybody pushing anything in their face, be it a product, be it their religious belief, be it anything else. Nobody, or even what they need to do on the job, that boss that's cracking the whip. Nobody wants things pushed on them. But when somebody is somebody that touches their heart through seeing value in them and adding value to them, people, at least the right people, are going to want to follow, are going to want to do business with you, are going to want to be your friends. Thank you so much. I hope this has been a benefit to you. This mindset has certainly benefited me. I decided, recently, I started the coaching business about 5 years ago now, almost. And, and it was from the ground up. A lot of the principles I already knew and I've been developing, but, this was brand new for me, and it's been rough at times. But what I've decided is that I am going to be a person who focuses on developing on the inside so that I can add value on the outside. And as I continue to consistently do that, more and more doors open, and I'm able to help more and more people. The same will happen for you. I guarantee that. As you develop into that value-adding person, doors are going to open for you. Sales are going to come your way. Good things are going to happen. All the right paths are going to open up for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate the time together. I'm Jeff Byrd with Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, and this is Empowered Living. Until next time, God bless you.